Oh, sorry. You're listening to Women's Issues, Women's Voices here on 89.5 KOP in Columbia. Vic Day and I are co-hosting the Goddess Hour today. It airs the last Monday of every month. And this time we're talking about Kali and introducing her as a what would we say? A misunderstood figure in historical culture.
Well, I think that there's a line from, I mentioned that we both belong to this group of women, and there's a line in one of their writings which says, Kali's secret is that once you know all sides of her and of yourself and all creation, you will be one with Kali forever and completely. And so we're talking about how, when we talked about Kwan Yin, we found the places where, like, Kwan Yin did get to that point where her head exploded. And she fell out of heaven because she hit her tipping point. She got so, I can't think of the word. She committed to never having, I can't think of the word that she committed to, but she got that. She got overwhelmed by the ugliness of humanity, right? That there wasn't compassion and love, right? And now we've moved to Kali, who if from what I read is if you talk to people who, like, she is part of their culture, people who practice Hinduism, she's also the Great Mother. She's like Kwan Yin. She is the loving, nurturing Great Mother.
Yeah, well, when you look at pictures of Kali, the most famous pictures of her are, all pictures that I've seen are very scary. She looks angry. Her tongue is sticking out. She's like got this necklace of skulls around her neck, and she's standing on someone that looks like they're dead. Shiva. And she's got this like powerful warrior stance.
I would say.
So when you see her, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there was a poem that I read a few episodes back of Women's Issues called Thunder Thighs by Caitlin Shetler, someone who I'm actually going to be interviewing and airing an interview with her, a poet. And in the line, in the poem is, that by this certain age, she'd been taught that storms were scary. And I'm like, what is it about what is it that we've been taught in our culture that makes, right, those images of Kali scary?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she doesn't, her destruction is not willy-nilly.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That there's, in fact, the one picture where she's standing on Shiva, who's her husband, is in some of the places I read, it's a mythological story reminding humans not to be arrogant, because she is nature, and nature will always put us in our place, which if we go back to the story at the beginning.
Yeah, about the alluvial fan and the Lawn Lake Dam disaster.
Yeah. It wasn't the lake that caused the destruction.
It was the farmers who needed more water for their fields.
To expand and expand. And then whoever was expanded it, not then also expanding it in a way that was sustainable, expanding in a way that they could provide the resources. They were asking
Yeah,
of the lake,
maintain.
they were
Mhm.
asking the lake to go far beyond its natural boundaries without providing any structure, any financial support, so that it could keep doing and keep giving and keep being the great mother, nurturing the people.
Nurturing the crops, supporting
Nurturing the
the,
crops,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I think that for me, this brings it to, I mean, you know, as we said when we took our little break during the song, like I feel like I'm really in, like I can feel this story in my body, because I do feel like that's, as a feminist, what I see our culture as,
yeah,
of humans, especially, and not just humans, of the planet. But as a woman, it's like, especially women, keep expanding your boundaries,
yeah.
keep
Raise
giving,
those
giving,
kids, work that full-time job.
work that full-time job. And as a society, we're going to give you less and less. We're not going to help, we're not going to tend you, we're not going to give you
Yeah,
universal health care, we're not going to support you know,
childcare.
childcare. We're going to make it impossible for you to do birth control, or to have a medically necessary legal, like, abortion, if you are in a situation where you are choosing not to carry a fetus to term, right? All of these things are like the farmers and the bureaucrats,
No
because
offense,
the farmers,
farmers. No
yeah,
offense,
the,
farmers.
I mean, because that's the thing, is that I think that they had a really great idea, right? They were like, hey, we have
Right.
this, right? Can we expand it? And
Yes, yes, let's
right,
expand it.
let's expand it so that it supports us more. But like, and I think this is a really great way for us to go from Kali, from Kwan Yin to Kali, is Kali is the great mother. She's like the lake, right? But if you keep pushing her beyond her boundaries, and she actually sees that her children are being harmed, she sees the demons. That's, I mean, that's, so one of the pictures of Kali is she's holding a skull with a bowl under it. And the story is, she's not catching the blood because she's bloodthirsty. She's catching the blood because every drop of blood turns into another demon,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So that's, it's like, because she is loving of humanity, and she's trying to stop the ugliness, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we,
Oh.
ooh,
Ooh. So
ooh.
yes, so
Okay,
that,
let me say this quote to help us
mhm,
kind of bring us in here.
okay.
I read this quote a couple weeks ago as I was preparing for this show. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction, by Sylvie Koakassian.
Can you read that again?
Yeah. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. So
True.
coming into the Kwan Yin, it's like, I will say yes, I will say yes, I will expand, I will do whatever anyone asks of me or what's required of me. But
People pleasing.
at what point do you set boundaries to take time for yourself and to tend to yourself
Yeah. Yeah. So
and
that's,
to do the things that are important to you?
uh, so I think this is a really great place for, we have a song that's about this. It's like letting go of control to allow, like, the love. Mm. And then we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So So this next song we're going to share with you as we go into the second half of this show. And if you are just tuning in, this is Women's Issues, Women's Voices on 89.5 KOPN Columbia. And you are on the airwaves with Victoria Day and Corri Flaker Fraser on a show that we do on the last Monday of the month called the Goddess Hour, in which we explore through conversation and meditation, embodiment, storytelling, different goddess archetypes. And so I'm just going to invite you to let yourself, if you are in a place where you can safely do so, take a breath, let it go, allow it to do that
And think
again
about
and
that.
again.
Think about that quote. I'm going to say the quote again. So, and then we can start the song. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction.